let's go to the beach.
Why? What?
You're supposed to say, okay.
Okay.
Let's go to Japan's Machu Picchu.
We can't. I wish you'd clued me in beforehand. You were like, "Don't worry, I've got something for this intro," and I'm like,
I
okay.
do. I do.
I didn't realize it was going to be group participation.
An participation piece.
I didn't realize. My God, it's been a while since we watched Pop Team Epic.
Yeah. It's been what? At least a couple weeks.
Probably. Time no longer has meaning in quarantine. I haven't left my house in over several months.
And I have in situations that are unsafe. Gotta love it.
Please send help. Wow, it sounds like it. Maria, do you hear that? Sounds like people were talking a lot about something that didn't quite matter for a while there. What do you mean 6 years ago? I mean, I was still in elementary school back then, right? It's pretty unfair to expect me to remember everything, don't you think? Also, I've relived this same couple days like 3 times now. Please help.
True. Especially because we were so young. We've grown a lot in these 6 years. If I hadn't been introduced, I might not even have remembered you. Really? I figured he was Battler right away. And when he opened his mouth, I was sure.
I just met him for the first time. I already think he's an asshole.
Yeah, that's fair.
Didn't know him 6 years ago.
That's right. Maria-sama was only 3 years old then.
Oh, wait, Saya's just starting out as part of the group now, huh? Okay. Well, the same goes for me. I only knew Maria when she was 3 years old, and since she's grown so big, of course I wouldn't recognize her. She's really big for a 9-year-old, don't you think? Like, I'm glad you grew up so quickly, Maria, but you seem very tall for a 9-year-old. Does anyone, no?
Just
me?
a smaller than normal adult.
Like paintings from that era where the babies are just literally just small adults. And just,
I fucking love those. Those are very good, and I think we should go back to painting that way.
They're so distressing.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. There was a really good religious painting I saw that was Mary holding the Christ, except that Jesus was depicted as a full-grown Jesus who had simply been Photoshop scaled down to fit into Mary's hands, who was awkwardly holding him like one-handed scruff of the neck, and it looked really silly.
You know what? I think that tradition also has an effect in the modern day, as seen in the Fallout series. Remember the segment wwhere you're like a baby picking your stats?
Yes, I do.
And if you zoom out and look at yourself,
you're just a
really
small
tiny
guy.
adult. Really tiny. After lunch, we had all gone out to the beach to walk around, talk, and take it easy. Our parents were apparently having a suspicious, complicated discussion, so we ended up leaving them behind. We're really kind of fast-forwarding through some things this time,
Yeah,
aren't we?
what kind of horrible fucking shit is gonna happen? We're really cranking along.
Yeah, I'm already clenched and ready for battle here. Well, just as I'd guessed from the start, the conversation focused on me since I'd been away for 6 years. Look at my shit-eating grin.
Still, you've really gotten tall. I wouldn't call myself short, but your height really surprised me. That's right. I remember well what Battler Samba was like 6 years ago, but I was surprised even so.
Really? It's my height that's impressive. Not Maria's. No, but mine. Mine's the okay. Just making sure I know whose height difference we're surprised by in relation to how old they are.
Yes,
and it's me.
Battler, you're awful tall for a 3-year-old. Wait, I think I lost track somewhere.
I mean, it's fair, honestly. Sometimes I feel like I'm not as emotionally mature as my peers, and it makes it really hard to talk around them sometimes. Like, I feel like, not that I'm left out of the conversation, but like I don't deserve to be there in the room with them in the first place. And I don't know, it's just, well, you really hit on something real there, and I don't know if you meant to, but like, I definitely feel it, and I'm gonna go take a walk for a moment.
Thank you for sharing that with us, champ.
Why is Sayo such a fucker this time around? Why are you turning her into like the meanest person? That's
Yeah, seriously. I can hardly believe this is the same battler we knew back then.
again, not judging, but like I'm the one that's had the biggest change since we last knew each other.
Maybe it's not the same battler we knew back then, huh?
Don't you dare ship a Theseus me.
Maybe Battler's the witch.
I'm not, again, I'm the one that's undergone the biggest change
Battler is
in the past 6 years. Not
Battler's
you.
a witch. Battler is a witch.
Oh.
Battler's a witch. Calling it.
You can't just keep repeating that over and over.
I can. That's how you establish truth.
Okay, good to know. But again, not Jessica, who's arguably had a way more.
Okay, sorry. I was distracted.
But we're going with me.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I'm surprised how much everyone remembers about it. It's almost like all you do is talk about me. My memory's all hazy.
Yeah, I'll bet. Looks like it's taking you a while to remember us. You know, that hurts a bit.
Well, I just got dismembered and brought back to life, so takes a moment.
That's rough, buddy.
Don't you dare call me sport. Come on, this was 6 years ago, right? I don't know what it was bad being forced to remember.
Are you saying that you can't remember well because it was 6 years ago?
Wait, can Battler really not remember certain things right now?
I don't know. I can remember it as clearly as if it had happened yesterday.
Ripple fade. And then the ascending harp noise. No flashbacks, no!
Well, your memory's great after all. You remember the kind of things Battler did and said back then pretty clearly, don't you?
Oh no, this is gonna bite me in the ass, isn't it?
Come to think of it, that's right. Shannon's memory can be incredible when you least expect it.
I'm horrible at remembering. I just don't. I remember fun things, but can't remember boring things at all.
Relatable.
Like you. Who are you?
Oh!
We all laughed, saying that everyone was like that.
Shannon, by the way, what was Battler like 6 years ago? Remember any interesting episodes? That's a good face. That's a good Jessica face.
I've missed Jessica face so much.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we get to see Jessica face again.
Let's see. I'm sure that he said something like this when he left. I'll be back. See you again. I'll surely come for you riding a white horse.
Stop it. So embarrassing. But also exactly the same as I am right now. Shut up.
Sounds just like something you'd say.
Shut up. What do you know?
Yeah, I remember you always used to be full of those stupid lines, Battler.
I got them out of a book. Yeah, real funny that you were hitting on Sayo there. That's wait, he doesn't know who she. Right? Fuck.
It really does sound like something Battler-kun would have said back then, but hopefully not.
And only
anymore.
back then, right? Cracks
Right?
knuckles.
Right?
Embarrassing? Is that embarrassing?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, you know what? Just pretty much anything about me is embarrassing.
Oh, crying Battler outside of the usual contexts.
Maria, I'm sure that when you're in middle school, you'll want to say embarrassing stuff like that. When that happens, make sure you write it down and read it 3 times before saying it aloud. If you don't, you'll definitely regret it. Still, everyone has to pass through that pitiful period. That's right, that's how you learn your place, learn shame and become an adult. Yeah, it's one of those bittersweet things everyone does in adolescence as they transition to becoming adults. A memory you just want to forget. After all, this was stuff I'd let slip out without thinking, so I didn't remember the words exactly. But now that those words were being recited to me, they were as embarrassing as all hell. I only recently came to understand this weakness, and was working hard to avoid such careless outbursts. But, guess I was just born with the habit of speaking without thinking, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Shannon, do you remember any other embarrassing stuff?
No, do not encourage her.
I'm going to encourage her. I have my I'm going to do bad things on purpose face on. I'm going to make trouble on purpose.
We should have never let her play that goose game. It's changed her entire attitude.
Yes, well, I remember a few other things, but since it looks like the person in question wants to forget them, I think I'll refrain from saying any more.
To be brutally honest, I don't remember this at all. Please don't make me remember.
You. Shannon's bullying Battler. You. I want to do it too. You can't. You shouldn't bully people.
But it's fun.
Okay, I want to bully Battler now.
Okay,
you
good.
convinced me.
Anyway, she isn't really bullying him. Let's leave it at that, okay? But Shannon, you'll have to tell me all about it sometime Battler isn't around.
No!
It sounds pretty interesting.
I saw your glasses flash. That doesn't count. Don't listen to him, Shannon.
Yes, certainly.
Oh, you can't, Shannon, Sean. For a while, George Aniki laughed at me, as though warming up for when Shannon Sean would tell him about more of my embarrassing misspeaks. It's a great word, misspeaks. Is there also a Mr. Speaks in the house?
Thus misspoke Zarathustra.
George looked like he was flirting with Shannon, but he seemed somewhat open and frank about it.
God is dad. Wait.
Hold on. He was always that way with his cousins, but he usually took on a reserved, gentlemanly attitude when he came in contact with the servants. When I thought about it, I got the feeling he was being a bit overly friendly, which seemed strange. Maria started scribbling in the sand with a stick, and George Aniki and Shannon John joined in. This left me and Jessica off to the side, so I asked her secretively. Hey, Jessica, is George Aniki going out with Shannon John?
Oh? What the? How did you guess? Battler, you've got a keener eye for people than I thought.
Jessica face! Look at her! Sorry, she's just so great. I'm so glad she's alive and not dead. What? I was just kidding, but they're actually going out?
Shh! Your voice is too loud.
I mean, that's just what my voice sounds like.
That's fair. In any case, it looks like they're keeping it secret for now, okay? It'd be better if nobody found out about it. Especially Aunt Ava.
I see. I'll make sure to tell explicitly not Aunt Ava.
Excellent.
Love with a servant, huh? Yeah, but since when? Guess a lot can happen in 6 years. But, yeah, Aniki's an amazing person, and Shannon-chan seems to be kind and brave. So they might make a pretty good match. Actually, 6 years ago, I remember taking notice of her just a little bit. See, she really fits well with George Aniki. Nothing I can do about that. Goodbye, my fleeting first love of 6 years ago. Which means that the collection of embarrassing lines Shannon-chan had just held back on probably had something to do with that. I can't take it. How long have they been going out?
That depends on what you call going out, but I think it's been at least a year.
I love like the face of Jessica just whistling innocently, like.
But if you count the time they both had one-sided feelings, it'd probably be several years.
Does one traditionally count those? What, like, is this a thing that people do? I don't think so. Before I had realized it, the two of them had separated themselves from the group and were walking down the beach, talking about something. They looked calm, and rather than a light relationship between two lovers, it looked more like a serious one, as though they were already engaged. Is that different? It's not.
I don't know. Maybe it is. We don't know.
They're way more open about it than they had been
Yeah.
in the last go round.
Yeah.
Huh. 6 years ago, huh? It's a long time. What did those 6 years mean to me? I've just gotten taller. And more handsome. It was just a waste of time. 6 years I spent obstinately fighting with my dad.
What about you, Battler? You got a girlfriend?
Yeah, you'll like her. She's a real witch. I wonder. Oh.
I like that that's the answer. I wonder. Do you? Do you wonder?
There's a few girls I have fun with, but there's no only one. I guess I'm just a kid. I think it's more fun to be noisy with a large group of people than being alone with one person.
That's so you, Battler.
You're just gonna let me get away with that one, huh? All right.
But take your relationships with your female friends seriously.
Oh, I do. They won't let me not.
When girls get wrong impressions or form a group, it can be scary, you know? They might be having secret feuds over you behind your back, with people getting hurt or crying. Lots of people even, maybe getting horribly maimed and injured.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that could happen.
Tell me more about this feeling you're getting.
I don't know.
Unsheathing a knife.
It was just a weird inkling that something like that could happen or may already have happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Even right here.
Oh, okay. Right on the beach or on Rokkenjima in general?
Oh, probably the whole thing. I'm not sure. Anyway.
She knows too much. That's so weird. I think I remember getting the same bit of advice from one of the girls in my class just last week. What's this all about? Why can't everyone just have fun together? Do people really want to couple up that much?
It's probably because you've never found a partner like that, Battler. Well, you might run into someone sooner or later. You've just got to wait patiently.
What? It almost sounds like you've already found a partner like that. What about you? Have you gotten a boyfriend?
Huh? Me?
Okay, so first thing, just about your face.
No,
Yeah, okay, so real convincing. You've got me totally convinced. Come on, that reaction's so easy to understand. From the looks of it, there's some boy you're thinking about, but you haven't been able to confess to him yet. Something like that?
No, that's not, Shut up, who cares about that?
I do. You're the only one who brought up the subject. Why are you yelling at me now, huh?
It's what I do.
Women are creatures who always ask questions and yet almost never answer them.
Fucking wow.
What cruel creatures, seriously.
Who hurt you, Battler?
I'll tell you a different time.
Okay.
There's a very specific pain in my, well, my everything, actually. I was going to point out a specific location, but all of me, honestly.
Well, I did try to confess once. Well, I struck out pretty badly.
Did you get an I'm sorry?
No, my feelings were seriously one-sided, and they didn't really know how to respond, I guess. It was like they didn't view me that way at all. Something about chairs, tables, furniture? I didn't really get it.
Okay, listen. Tell me, how much do you actually know right now?
Just about nothing, as a rule.
I can understand that. You talk like a man, after all.
Fucking wow.
You know what? You're right. I didn't think about how you might take that before I said that. I want to apologize, Jessica. You know that's not how I think of you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm so glad that I have you as my cousin.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyway, if you don't act a bit more graceful, you won't be able to catch a boy's interest.
Fucking wow.
That one, I don't know what you want me to say. That one's just true.
Is it really is the way I speak really that bad?
Oh no, our headcanon for Jessica's making this really terrible, isn't it? Huh? Well, how you talk isn't everything. When people like you, who usually have a rough style of speech, suddenly start working hard to talk more normally. Well, there are guys out there whose heart will skip a beat when they see how determined you are.
Is that really true? I see. Yeah.
Jessica suddenly started talking more meekly, and then her face instantly went slightly red. I see, even though her confession didn't go well, it looks like she still hasn't given up. But still, I get it. Just seeing how close George Aniki and Shannon John have gotten, I also kind of want to find a girlfriend. 6 years. 6 years of puberty are pretty important, and they went by pretty fast. The typhoon approached, the clouds grew steadily grayer, but even so, I had this really refreshing feeling. Maybe I'll try thinking more seriously about the opposite sex, more than just the size of their boobs. Are we ever gonna, like, get that so-called reckoning with Battler's attitude that's allegedly coming?
Probably? I don't know.
By the way, looks like George Aniki's going out with a servant. Don't tell me it's the same for you.
Huh? What?
Do you two just not meet people not on the island? Oh my
Maybe.
God.
What? Why do you think that?
Come to think of it, that kid Cannon-kun who greeted us in the rose garden. We were covering for him pretty intensely, considering he was just a little awkward at the talking.
No, that's not...
Oh, I need all these Jessica faces. They're so good. Look at them.
Haha, now you're getting paranoid.
Sidles up closer. Then tell me just one thing. Just one thing, Your Honor. Just one thing. Right now. Is the boy you're after within 1 kilometer of this spot?
Well, about that, I wonder.
Yeah, no, maybe he's on a boat.
Yeah.
We have no way of knowing that.
Maybe he's extremely high up in the air.
Yeah, either that. Oh, look at that plane that just passed over. Yeah, that was it. That was him.
Yeah.
Right there. Don't ask me again, though. Canon-kun was the only boy on this island now who could possibly become her boyfriend. So judging by her reaction, I was right on. I didn't think of the Ushiromiya family as a noble family, but love with a servant. I wouldn't have dreamed that 2 pairs of Romeo and Juliet would be right next to me. Also, it's a pretty unhealthy dynamic with which to have a relationship, since there's an inherent power imbalance between the 2 parties. But then again, we're just kids. Aunt Eva would probably become an obstacle to George Aniki and Shannon-chan's love. If Aunt Eva ever learned that Shannon-chan was the partner of her only beloved son, she'd probably scream at her for trying to steal away her precious George. And a relationship between Jessica and Canon-kun would probably just be as full of difficulties. Aunt Natsuhi was also very strict about that kind of thing. After all, Jessica's husband would probably become the head of the Ushiromiya family in the future. If that person had once been a servant working for the family, well, things would get complicated. Well, love is different for every person. As long as you're with someone who's fun to be around, does anything else matter? When 2 people pair up, they don't need anyone's permission as long as they accept each other. Worrying about what your parents or family say means you've already lost. Don't forget that. You'd better not go out with someone with mixed feelings.
I can't believe you're saying something so philosophical sounding when you haven't even been in love.
Don't treat love like a matter of profit and loss. It's about heart. That's all I have to say. Well then, see you again. Have a nice day.
George, Nissan, Shannon, listen. This guy, he said another one of those lines.
I didn't say anything. Don't make fun of me.
I
heard it. See you again.
For a while, we forgot that the wind was getting stronger and played around on the beach. I grew a lot those past 6 years, and being able to celebrate my youth and meet with all my cousins was truly refreshing. It was a bit late now, but I'd realized that I should have gotten back together with everyone a lot sooner and returned to the Ushiromiya family.
First you meet with all the cousins, then you meet with all the cousins.
No. No.
That's Umineko.
Sure is nice to have all the cousins together every once in a while.
Yep, I like it too. It's really fun when all the cousins get together.
That's right. We're already old enough. It's not like we couldn't meet each other out when our parents aren't around. Might not be a bad idea to gather the cousins together and play every once in a while.
That's a good plan. Maybe we should set up something like that the next time we get a chance. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I've got this cool puzzle we can all try.
I hope we cousins can stay friends forever, and that our friendship doesn't end in like a day or 2 from now.
Why that specific time frame?
Yeah, I'm just worried. I have anxiety.
This is the worst island to have anxiety on. Islands ranked by how bad it is to have anxiety on them. Number 1 is Rokkenjima. Number 2 is like, I don't know, probably Svalbard. Right? Because it takes a while to get anywhere else from there, and you can only have so much alcohol a month, and you have to have a gun on your hand to leave town. It's like, I'd think that's a solid number 2.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, it's the northernmost continually inhabited city on the planet.
Okay.
And it's on an island.
Okay.
Yeah. And it I think it would suck to have anxiety and live there.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so.
And I laid out a couple of good reasons why that is. This has been my TED Talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. May I subscribe to your newsletter?
No.
Oh.
Okay, I think we lost the plot. If you make such a big deal out of it, you almost make it sound like the relatives usually end up hating each other. George, Aniki, and Jessica laughed, but it felt just a little strained. Did I say something wrong? Judging by how our parents made quiet expressions and tired faces every once in a while during the boat ride, and at the airport, maybe I should have kept that to myself. You're right, it's just like Jessica said. Let's always be friends to each other.
Ew, whoop, me too. We're all friends.
That's right. Yeah, we'll always be together. We'll always be friends. Man, we've been saying some pretty embarrassing stuff.
Wow.
Whoa. I feel kind of awkward. But I think it's very important. People are creatures who find it very hard to stay together, much less remain friends, unless they truly desire it. That's right. You really can't take everyone being friendly for granted.
Ew, whoop, which I know said it. Happiness won't be granted unless everyone believes in it.
That's true. Maybe some magic exists in the power of belief. If we all believe in that, I'm sure it will bring us great happiness and not disaster.
Ew, whoop. Ew, whoop.
All right. Well, if we're doing embarrassing stuff already, let's all swear to believe in this together, okay? That we'll always be friendly, that we'll always be happy.
Like how we'll end up like our parents. As if we'd ever search for each other's weaknesses, going after grandfather's fortune. Okay, we'll always be friendly and happy. Let's all believe in that. No matter how much we cousins tried to nostalgically have fun, dark clouds continue to approach Rokkenjima. I wonder if the typhoon will pass and let us see the clear skies before we leave this island. Who cares about what our parents are planning? Who cares about the inheritance and the honor of the old family? As youthful as we were renewing our old friendship, and we all believed together that we could find happiness. That's why I want this pair of days to end without anything weird happening, in peace and happiness and calmly. No, I don't just want them to end. Please let them end.
Let them end.
God fucking damn it, Beato. Let me just have one moment.
Fuck no.
God damn it. Don't show up. Don't appear. Damn it.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Do you want to try that one again? Sorry to keep you waiting. I can't do a Solid Snake, but
Me
imagine
neither.
that I could.
I've finally prepared a new game. Come, let us begin this tale of Mario Party 5.
No! That's even more random than Mario Kart!
Come to me, winds, rain, typhoon. Cut this island off from the real world. Throw Rokkenjima into another realm, into the spirit world, into a world of fantasy. Perhaps even a final one. Wait, that's a terrible party game. We're going back to the Mario Party plan.
I don't know, you ever tried to play Strip Final Fantasy VII?
No, but I'm interested now.
It's a great hoot at parties, believe me. One person plays Final Fantasy VII and the rest of people strip. I'm usually the one playing Final Fantasy VII. And so, the tale repeated for the third time. However, to an endless witch. What did it matter whether it was the first, second, or third time? Probably didn't matter at all. After all, this was a tale of fantasy, endlessly repeating until the match was settled. Would battlers surrender first, or would the witch? That it? GG? Alright. Chapter 3? Done. Then the sky grew dark and cloudy, and the rain and wind were summoned together and became a typhoon.
See, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that, if one of them just went like, Battler wakes up and everything immediately goes to shit, and then it's like, whoop, fast forward.
He wakes up, looks outside, sees a dragon, is like... "Ah!" Maria could be seen in the rose garden, paying no mind to the rain that had started falling, going around in circles, searching for that single rose that should have been marked.
Not here, not here. My rose that we marked isn't here.
Maria definitely remembered it. That rose had been in the flower bed right here. And yet it wasn't anymore. She didn't know what to do with her irritation at not being able to find something that should have been there. And, moaning bitterly, she couldn't help but keep going back and forth in circles around the same spot. She was acting almost as though she'd be able to see it as if she looked at a different angle. But even though she did that, there was no way to find something that wasn't there.
Without love, it cannot be seen.
The wind grew increasingly strong, and the rain turned into cold, large drops. There was no way even Maria would fail to notice this. However, if she couldn't find her rose here, it would surely disappear forever. Maria believed that. That feeling spurred her on to keep searching for a rose that she had no chance of finding. Just then, the cold drops of rain tormenting Maria were suddenly blocked. Maria raised her head. When she did, she saw an umbrella there, protecting her from the rain. The one holding out that umbrella was...
Sup, bitch.
the witch she admired, Beatrice.
Beatrice.
What's up? I was just out for a smoke.
Can I try?
No.
Okay.
When you get older.
Okay. You mean I'm gonna get older?
Define that. Anyway, what are you doing so frantically in the middle of all this rain? You could catch a cold like this. Even witches have to care for their own health.
I can't find my rose. No matter how many times I search, even though it should have been here, I can't find it.
Is there only soup?
You really want to do that?
No, I don't.
You really want to do
I
that with
retract
Maria's
that.
voice?
I retract that.
Okay. Settle down. Maria told Beatrice about how there had been a slightly unhealthy, pitiful rose, and that she was sure they had marked it. Oh, that one? It's in... Looks at Pipe nervously. Never mind where it is.
Oh, so you can't find it. If you are a witch's apprentice, you should use magic to search for the rose. I believe that searching with just your eyes won't be nearly enough.
Can't find it. I did my best and tried to search with magic, but I can't find it.
I think practicing your magic is a very good thing, but it might be a little too much for you with all this wind and rain. Allow me to lend you some special power. Concern for one's disciples is also one of a teacher's duties.
Thank you, Beatrice.
Wait, has she ever called Maria her apprentice before? Like, we know that Maria has hung out with Beato before, but has she ever made it clear that she sees herself as a teacher?
Yeah, I don't know that we've gotten specifically that
That's
verbiage.
interesting. No, because that does subtly change the dynamic between them. If Beato is deigning to teach Maria, that means that she sees enough potential in Maria.
But it also makes sense why in previous arcs we heard at some points Maria call herself a witch.
Because she apparently is, not just like a self-studied thing, but apparently is.
Yeah, she's a witch in training under an actual witch, just like Beato was under
Damn,
her
son.
teacher.
Maria's face, which had been full of sadness until just now, split open into a grin. Maria knew. She knew that there was nothing Beatrice's magic couldn't do. So she was sure that Beatrice would be able to find the rose easily, even though Maria couldn't. Hold on while I reconstitute this herb. Beatrice closed her eyes lightly, acting as though she was listening for something in all this wind and rain. Then she heard it, opened her eyes, and spoke.
All things in this world are transitory.
All things in this world are trans. That's what Jessica told me that one time.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Okay.
Too bad, Maria. It seems your rose couldn't withstand all of this wind and rain.
Ew, and my rose?
It was uprooted by the wind and is no longer of this world.
Ew, ew, ew.
What Beatrice had said was quite reasonable. There was nothing odd about the flower being broken off at the stem in this strong wind. However, Maria couldn't accept this and bitterly gave a low-pitched moan.
No.
Huh?
Oh.
No, it's my rose. My rose won't come back. No. I'll bring it back to life with my magic. Beatrice, teach me how to revive a rose with magic.
Ha! It's much too early for an apprentice like you to learn the hidden art of endless magic. Know your place. Okay, fine.
It's like a klaxon, but it's just Maria going like... Maria wiped the tears from her eyes, full of regret. Beatrice shrugged her shoulders and chuckled at Maria's pitiable expression.
Very well. I will lend you my power, the hidden art that can revive a rose.
Why is Beatrice so fucking sentimental over this?
Why not?
It's a fucking 9-year-old kid crying over a rose.
I mean...
Why is she taking such an interest in this?
I mean... I don't fucking know.
Right?
But, I mean, just cause you want to murder the whole family doesn't mean you can't play with the kids and be nice.
No, I get that. I understand that. I'm with you. I'm on board. I'm just saying, why specifically is this...
Is it specifically because of Beato and her teacher? And
Maybe.
Flashback at the beginning?
Maybe.
Wheelie? Wheelie?
Indeed.
I know you don't misunderstand. I can do wheelies now.
Well then, concentrate the power of your heart. Close your eyes, forget the rain, forget the wind, and search for the soul of the wandering rose with the eyes of your heart. Did you know there's eyes in there?
What?
There are now.
Ew.
Maria closed her eyes. Then she repeated Beatrice's song-like words. Oh, this song again.
Indeed.
You gotta, this is Beato.
Oh, I thought it was saying that Maria was doing them.
Oh. I think this is Beato and then Maria repeats it.
Okay. Come, try to remember. Rose, what form did you have?
Come, try to remember. Rose, what form did you have?
Don't look, don't listen, and believe. Release the power of your soul from the cage of flesh that imprisons it. That's it. Good.
Around Maria, who was concentrating her power, her eyes tightly shut, small golden butterflies began to dance. Was this the manifestation of the magical power Maria held?
Lost soul of the rose, gather into one and remember your form. Come, gather, remember.
The glitter of the gold butterflies began to strengthen, and their numbers increased. Then Beatrice raised a finger up to the skies, and they began to gather at the tip of that finger. This was the miracle of the golden magic. The gold butterflies began to condense into a single dazzling grain of gold. It was a single glittering gold seed. It rode on the tip of Beatrice's finger, budded into a golden sprout, and opened into a golden leaf. Then it slowly fell from that fingertip, sank into the mud of the flower bed, and began to grow steadily. Maria, who admired magic and the witch, really wanted to see this fantastical sight. However, as an apprentice, Maria was still not qualified to see it. No, she was probably afraid that, if she opened her eyes to look, the power that she had concentrated in her heart would be cut off, and the magic would be lost. Therefore, Beatrice, as the only one permitted to witness this golden miracle, was the only witch, the sole master of many miracles. Then the fully grown rose bloomed, creating one golden flower. And when Beatrice poked it with her finger in just the right way, the gold-colored sparkles scattered just as if a golden soap bottle had popped, and what remained was a single beautiful rose.
It looks like you remembered a splendid rose. However, if we just leave it mixed in with these other roses, you won't be able to tell it apart. Shall I perform one last service?
Beatrice, for the sake of her cute apprentice, who was moaning even more now in concentration, decided to use one more bit of magic. This bit of magic I call potting a plant. I have to get my magic wand, gets like one of those little tiny shovel things. When she snapped her fingers, a single gold butterfly appeared and fluttered around and landed on the flower that had just been revived. Then it suddenly burst open and disappeared, becoming golden lace and marking the rose.
That will do. Maria, you may open your eyes now.
Ew, woo, woo. Where's the rose? It's not here. Not here.
Not over there, over here. Look, I've marked it with golden lace.
Wow, you did. Awesome, 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 awesome. Thank you, Beato. Thank you, Beato. I want to become a witch quickly, a great witch like you.
And you can. Long ago, I too wished for that innocently, just as you do. And I have attained that level.
Maria was ecstatic over the revived rose, clapping her hands and jumping around in joy. Watching that, Beatrice also smiled, looking fairly pleased.
Okay, so AU, where Beato doesn't decide to murder the Ushiromias in a time loop forever and just gets a well-adjusted gardening hobby.
That'd be pretty good,
like,
yeah.
Damn, I love flowers. I'm gonna start a hydroponics farm.
You know what's gonna be all the rage these days? Vertical farming. I'm gonna get it on the ground floor. And all the floors above that, because it's vertical. By now I can break and repair my soul if I try. Not just that of a rose, and kill and revive as I please. Come, the barrier of the storm has now sealed Rokkenjima off from the natural world. Now is the time for the golden witch, Beatrice, to descend as an endless witch. Beatrice pulled from her pocket an envelope with the family crest, the one-winged eagle, and gave it to Maria.
Yeah, it's just like Sephiroth. Do you know Sephiroth?
No.
Maria frolicked around. Why would she know Final Fantasy? I thought it was Battler that was playing Final Fantasy VII. Maybe Battler told her about it. Maria frolicked around and being selected to be the witch's messenger.
So, Kinzo, I've come to join in on your fun once more. My preparations are already complete. What of you? Have you prepared enough coins to bet in tonight's game?
But here's the thing, supposedly we're on an even playing field with the witch this time.
Yeah.
Last time she crushed us mercilessly, but apparently this time we're like supposedly on level with her.
Do you remember what happened in the tea party?
The one before we... No, so the tea party at the end of chapter 2?
Cause Bernie and Lambda showed up.
Right.
And it seemed they were going to be, intervening themselves.
Right. So now we have an ally.
Yeah, so it seems like...
Supposedly.
It seems like we have some shit going on here, and it's no longer just us versus Beato. Maybe. Maybe not.
I mean, even if Bernie is our ally, she hasn't, like, stepped in super heavy on our behalf.
That we know of.
That we know of.
Maybe she's just there for moral support.
Maybe.
Nipa.
I am no longer asking, Battler-sama.
Of course, I'm fully prepared, Beatrice. I've assembled a plethora of pieces. I'm ready both physically and mentally. So then, let us make the ante. All that you have given should be returned to you in the end. Come, take it.
Kinzo flung the window of his study open wide, took off the valuable golden ring that had been on his finger, and threw it into the darkness of the raging wind and rain.
Ow!
That ring was struck by lightning, and after twinkling gold for an instant, disappeared.
Bro,
Holy fuck!
bro,
Did you see that?
Look where you throw those fucking things, bro! It got me in the eye!
Kinzo watched it go, grinning broadly and fearlessly.
I don't think I'll lose. You are mine. Forever.
What the fuck is going on? This definitely feels like a different attitude
Yeah.
than the last two have been. Does that make... That's not the word for it, but does what I'm getting at make sense to you? Yeah. The ring that Kinzo had thrown became a single gold butterfly and fluttered around in the wind and rain. Headed for the rose garden, almost as though it was being guided there. Then found the figure of the golden witch and fluttered down. When it came down right in front of Beatrice, burst open and returned to its original form, flying through the air. The way it was going, you would have expected it to fall into a puddle, but it stopped suddenly in midair, almost as if some transparent person had caught it. Apparently even Beatrice hadn't expected this. However, she realized what, no, who it was, and grinned broadly at it. Aaron
What?
Hansen from Game Grumps?
I see. But actually, who the fuck is this?
I have no
Who the
fucking
fuck
idea who this is.
Why do they have the crest and shit?
I don't know. I'm gonna maintain it's Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps. Who could be both your angel and your devil. As she did, the shadow of the person who had caught the ring began to fuzzily appear. It was the figure of a young man wearing a butler's uniform embroidered with the one-winged eagle crest. There was no man like this among the servants of the Ushiromia family. Even so, Beatrice laughed as though it was someone she remembered fondly.
Ronobe, is it? It's been quite some time. It seems you have remembered me. You were always a man who took loyalty seriously.
It's been quite some time since your last correspondence. Not for a single day have I, Ronobe, forgotten that I serve you, milady. I was more afraid that you had forgotten about me. After all, you can be quite forgetful.
Yeah, that tracks. I see, yes, I certainly am forgetful. What year is it? I'd forgotten even your sarcasm until I heard it again.
I did caution you about continuing to hit that pipe, right? Milady, take this. With an exaggerated yet elegant gesture, he bowed respectfully, and held out to Beatrice the head's ring that he'd just caught. It is the Ushiromia family's head ring. Returned to you from Ushiromia Kinzo. It is now once again in possession of its master.
Indeed. This is Kinzo announcing the start of the game. Of course I'll accept it.
So how shall we play tonight? Shall I prepare the roulette immediately? Or shall I prepare some black tea first?
I can't decide which, but first, I need you to greet someone. I'm sure that guy's got his mouth hanging open and can't shut it. Right, Battler?
How did you know I would stop breaking the fourth wall? Greetings. I have come to you from beyond the fourth wall. Allow me to introduce myself. I am a man of wealth and taste. I'm called Ronobe, and I serve at the side of my lady Beatrice. It is truly a pleasure to meet you.
See? His mouth's hanging open and he can't shut it, right? Shut it for him.
Yeah, no shit. Another incomprehensible guy just showed up. We don't even have room. How many people are on this couch now?
Just you fucking wait.
But you got Birdie over there and Lambda Delta somewhere. She went out to get popcorn and she hasn't returned yet.
By chapter 8, it'll be witches all the way down.
Oh my god, we're gonna run out of seats. We're gonna need to rent a whole fucking theater just to do this.
All my friends are coming over and you're the main course.
Oh my fuck. First I grumble about goat-headed people doing the Bond dance, and now goat-heads start showing up in swarms. And since then, not only have the 7 Asne-sans appeared, but now there's even a butler? It doesn't make sense. Cut it out.
By the way, Battler.
Jesus, have you looked at your face?
Oh yeah, I practice these every morning.
Oh my god, it pays
yeah.
off.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Ugh.
You really have to lean into it. You can't. It's important for the witch thing.
I believe you.
Anyway, did you notice? Did you realize that meeting him is a true devil's proof?
What? A devil's proof? What do you mean?
He may not look like it, but this guy's one of the 72, a genuine demon. In other words, I brought a demon right in front of you, which truly proves that they exist.
Well, fuck. You're not gonna finish your Sprite?
I'm too busy cackling evilly.
Do you mind if I'm gonna take just a little bit? Is that just like a cap full?
Yeah,
Just a little.
fucking go for it.
Wet my whistle a little bit. Really wash down those combos.
Ronove holds a noble rank in hell, the 27th highest ranked great demon. He's a pretty useful man. I summoned him at high cost and made him serve me.
Man, 27th ranked. How does it feel to be beneath 26 of them,
Shut the fuck up.
It is an honor to meet you. While my name is amongst the nobles of hell, I now serve as the head furniture of Beatrice-sama, who, despite being a vulgar human, is a great witch of such caliber that demons flee before her.
He's a very useful man, but he's impudent with his words.
I mean...
Frustratingly enough, he sometimes forgets to respect his master. He's not wrong, though. I am pretty vulgar, aren't I?
Nothing in my contract specifies the manner in which I am to speak. Would you like to change that contract?
It keeps me entertained, so it's fine.
All right. Can I have a hit of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, all right. It'll be high as a kite tonight,
Yeah,
my
I
friends.
don't know if it works on demons, but...
I can make it work on
Okay,
demons.
good.
Beatrice turned her back to him, cackling. After bowing once to her back, Ronove turned back to Battler and stuck out his right hand, showing off an innocent smile. Normally this would mean that he was asking for a handshake. What is this supposed to be? Oh, right. I'm doing both of those voices. I am another who has been subjected to Milady's whims. In that sense, I'm sure we could become good friends. This is a handshake, a friendship.
I'm still going to kill you, though.
Of course, this in no way implies your entry into contract with the demon, so fear not.
Unless you're into that shit, in which case...
Sorry, but I'm right in the middle of a big fight with your master. I only shake hands with an enemy after we've beaten each other up at a rainy schoolyard and are all worn out, like something you'd see in a teen drama. Remember that. I see. To shake hands with you, Battler-sama, I must create a fitting atmosphere in a suitable location, exchanging sweet words and physical language with you that rings true to your heart. When the opportunity arrives, I shall arrange for such an encounter.
I feel like that's going to be badass when it inevitably happens.
Oh, yes. I must say, I simply love situations like that myself. As Ronove laughed tauntingly, he whispered to Battler, bringing his face so close their noses were almost touching. Battler, his face turning red after getting so close to another of the same sex, pushed him away. You're a creepy bastard. I see just right for Beato's butler. It is an honor to receive such words of praise. I'm very confident in my tea brewing ability, so please look forward to tea time. Baking cookies is also one of my hobbies, so feel free to request any snacks you may desire.
I love it.
Would anyone else like anything while I'm getting up? Bernie, you good? Nope.
I just love that he is going to murder his whole family, but he will serve refreshments too. Like I'm gonna kill your parents, but like we can all have tea first. Like we don't have to rush it. Like
no.
Relax, take your time.
Don't worry, we've got 2 whole days.
Yeah. I'll break you some snickerdoodles.
I got a little secret surprise in them.
It's nutmeg.
Everyone loves nutmeg. You don't underestimate the value of a good nutmeg in your cookie.
Just what I'd expect from a pair of the same gender. You've started getting along well right off the bat. I'm jealous.
My. I apologize for making you jealous, milady. I shall not sneakily snatch your guest away from you. Well, then I will leave for now to retake my post as head furniture and greet my subordinates. Please forgive my short absence.
Indeed. Only the common goats and the 7 sisters used for the ceremony have manifested themselves. You will be able to finish greeting them in no time.
No. Well, I hope you know that each individual greeting gets at least 15 minutes a person, as I have to go through this whole rigmarole with each and every single person I meet in order to have it done formally.
Fucking contracts.
The 7 sisters are here. I wonder if those naughty girls have grown a little more graceful. If that's graceful, I have to doubt the definition of the word graceful. Is that so? I suppose you already had the opportunity to play with those sisters. Judging by your expression, it would seem they are just as naughty as always, even though I'm always telling them to act more fitting as servants of Beatrice-sama. What troublesome kids. If that's your problem, don't worry. They actually act perfectly fitting for their master. Just not for me.
Now, even you have begun to say it. However, a conversation means that you accept your partner. The fact that you've started to respond to my idle chatting proves that you are gradually starting to accept my existence.
That's because even if the sun starts rising for the rest, I will definitely, absolutely never accept that you're a witch. You might want to try a more positive approach, like crying and kissing my shoes. Even if Battler was bluffing, he still spoke forcefully, a fearless expression on his face. The witch and her butler snickered together, realizing that their guest had regained more than enough of his willpower to attend to a new game, and that preparations were complete. After Ronove exchanged a few words with Beatrice, he bowed silently to Battler, scattered into several gold butterflies, and disappeared.
It is truly pleasing to have such a boisterous atmosphere. How boring were the days when I was trapped alone on this island, unable to regain my power and lacking anyone to talk to.
I get how that unpleasant guy is really fitting as your butler. But tell me, why has that butler only appeared now? You said something about how only the goats and the Neichans of the 7 sticks had manifested themselves. What did that mean?
Indeed. You still resist, but I am a fully fledged witch.
No, you're not. Witches don't say what?
What?
Ah, I got you. I win. Battler wins.
Fuck.
Score 1 point for Battler.
I am in contact with several non-human entities in the spirit world.
Ooh, well then. No sane people would hang out with you, Steinbird.
Oh.
Prison company excluded. Sorry, Birdie. Don't worry about it. For some ghost monsters, then those ass Neichuds, this time a demon's butler showed up. I hate to think about it, but the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if even more weird people appeared.
Among the furniture that work at my great golden mansion, how many demons do you think want to come over and play? They will keep coming.
Play what?
Many of them will appear.
Mario Party?
I mean...
Final Fantasy VII. Strip Final Fantasy VII.
Now that you've suggested it, we will run out of controllers from Mario Party pretty quick.
Oh.
And Strip Final Fantasy VII really only seems to need one controller.
Well, yeah.
So...
It's efficient that way.
Yeah. Well,
I just like playing Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, we'll think it over.
And, you tried the new Mario Party on the Switch. I believe you can play with up to 8 players.
When the door to the Golden Land is opened, I will call back all of my furniture and build my new castle here on Rokkenjima.
Ooh, that's neat.
Then I plan to invite all of my old friends, and we will drink and dance together for 3 days and 3 nights. Of course, I also plan to invite Kinzo's family, you see? You too, if you wish.
So, this is what you mean, that since you lost your power for a long time, you couldn't summon them? And then since your magic power has been gradually increasing, you become able to summon more and more monsters?
It is as you say. You stopped a hair's breadth before crumbling, but your heart is already wavering, and you are unable to deny that I am a witch.
I deny it!
That wavering in your heart has been slowly restoring my power as a witch.
Oh, fuck! Damn it, heart! You're trying to say that creepy butler has appeared because I started to surrender?
That's right.
Damn it! I always wanted to meet Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps on better terms.
Fuck, we forgot to see what the demon butler looks like in the new art. We'll have to do that the next time he shows up.
Oh, yeah, we will actually, won't we? I keep forgetting that's an option.
Yeah. That's right. Bit by bit, you are surrendering to me.
No!
Isn't all that humiliation you suffered in the last game a result of you submitting to me so deeply? Wasn't it great when you had to sacrifice your back for the sake of my feet?
No, it was actually rather painful. Please don't make me do it again.
I'll do it again.
We need like a safe word. Damn it! I thought I'd be able to keep things as they were as long as I didn't accept you, but it looks like that was wrong.
Correct. The closer you get to surrendering, the more the game will swing in my favor.
Fuck.
Isn't chess the same?
Well, didn't you see the tooltip before we started this round? It said we're on an equal playing field.
Yeah, I was kind of concerned about that. I figured this was really one-sided, and...
It's because I gave you the bad controller. That one's got Joy-Con drift.
Piss. In the process of cornering each other's kings, we trade several pieces. Of course, I still haven't cornered your king. And furthermore, you're giving it everything you've got just to help your king escape, and have lost several pieces to me, as well as a large advantage. It is only natural that further developments will tend to turn in my favor.
Oh, noodles! Damn!
From now on, you will probably be frantic as you try to avoid my checkmate. However, as you do, I will steal your pieces from you one by one.
I don't like
while
this
you're not
analogy
even
anymore.
looking. While you're not even looking, I'll
What?
steal your pieces and I'll eat them.
What? Hey, I had a rook there! Ew! My hands were on that. You didn't even like wash it or anything. And it's wood, so it's not like you could wash it, you know, it's like, why would you do that?
In the end, you'll have lost everything but your king, and you won't be able to escape no matter how much you try.
Doesn't even have any nutritional value.
Then you will receive a true checkmate. You were talking big last time, weren't you?
I always do.
Something about how you'd never accept me and would torment me with eternal torture. Only witches who have reached the endless level can talk about eternity. Wait, do you want to be a witch? We can work something out.
Wait, there was an option? Wait, no! No, you will not fool me!
That's been beyond you ever since the very beginning.
So then how does Battler win?
Yeah.
I don't think, because it's clear that he's put in a position where it's not enough to just resist. Like, merely resisting and merely failing to lose just gives his opponent an even stronger position.
Yeah.
So what is the win condition for him? Like, how can...
Find the gold?
I guess. Maybe?
Seems like that's one out.
Yeah, actually you're right.
Seems like if he finds the gold, everything's good. It's all hunky-dory. Nothing bad will happen, right? Right?
Right?
Right?
Definitely.
Kinzo-sama has already publicly displayed the location of the hidden gold within the epitaph under my portrait. The rules apply equally to all who can read the epitaph. If you can't read, they don't apply equally.
Oh.
If you discover the gold, I shall return everything to you. Tonight, I ask that you enjoy your battle of wits with...
Wait, is this Maria reading the letter?
Is it? It totally is, isn't it?
It totally is, but you should keep reading it.
Tonight, I ask that you enjoy your battle of wits with Kinzo-sama to the fullest. I sincerely pray that this night will be both intellectual and elegant. Beatrice the Golden.
You like how I sound like her while I was reading it? It's because I'm a witch.
Wow. That's so nice, kiddo.
I'm a real witch, damn
That's
it.
so nice. That's so nice, champ.
Damn it.
When Maria finished reading the letter that Beatrice had handed her, everyone was at a loss for words for a while. And then they all broke into silence at once. They broke the silence at once.
Ridiculous. What a worthless, vicious prank.
Nah, seriously. There was no way Father gave up the head's ring. Beatrice? What a transparent prank. Hoping to confuse us just by bringing up that name. Hey, who filled the dessert up with a little too much punch? I want to applaud and praise you, so come clean, okay? Rosa?
Oh, of course not. I wouldn't pull a prank by assuming Father's name.
Aniki? Aniki?
Me? Are you an idiot?
Wait, no, she's just deep voice. Okay, right.
Are you an idiot? It was Nissan, right? Only he could plan something this vulgar.
Are you trying to mock me? I'm the one who wants to question you. Who's behind this ill-natured prank? Kraus beat the table and stared at everyone. Since that included the children too, you scared most of them.
A letter from a mysterious person who claims to have been given full rights to father's assets. Considering the whole point of this family conference is the discussion of that subject, I think it's too hasty to call this a mere prank.
What's her deal?
What?
What is her deal? She's going to be important in some way.
Everyone's going to be important in some way.
Yeah, that's true. I feel I have no read on her.
Yeah, that's true.
She's the only one I have no read on at all by this point.
Yeah, it just seems like she's there to support her husband.
And just kind of is there on the sidelines.
Yep, just there to get slaughtered.
And that can't be real. That can't really be
Well,
it.
we do have 6 entire more chapters to go here.
Yeah.
So.
We can't be sure. Maybe it really is one of Father's shady pranks. He might have planned this to shock us a bit since we've been discussing the distribution of his inheritance without him.
Nah. If Dad was the one who planned this, then we can't take what Maria-chan just read aloud as a joke, right?
That's right. If you interpret the contents literally, then this is a test from Father. The epitaph of the witch has been displayed in the hall for quite some time now, so any one of us could solve it. There's plenty of notice. That means he was saying that the first person to solve it would be handed the inheritance, along with all of his wealth, right?
See? My magic granted your wish.
Oh. Ooh, Beato is totally influencing Ava here.
Yeah. Yeah, she is.
Nothing so foolish could possibly be the case. It is an unshakable fact that my husband is the successor to the Ushiromiya family headship.
Well, doesn't this letter shake that? This is a message from the person who was given full rights to all of Father's wealth. Nissan's right to become the head has returned to a blank slate. The person who solves the riddle, the person who finds Beatrice's gold, will become the next head of the Ushiromiya family.
Ha! Ridiculous. Do you think we can trust the meaningless words in that letter? That seal was the real thing? There's no way we could trust that.
Then let's try to go ask Father directly. At this point, you can't get away with saying he's grumpy or feeling bad, right? The sealed wax clearly shows this was from Father's representative. If you doubt that, then show some proof, Nissan. Show that this letter does not contain Father's will.
Nah. Very well. As just as you say. It no longer matters whether Father's in a good mood or not. Let us go up and ask him directly. Yeah, let's do it. We'll ask Dad directly. Dad is Dad, so why would he act in such a roundabout way? Then again, I guess that would be like him, wouldn't it?
I wonder if we really should continue this discussion on the assumption that this letter came from Father.
Stupid Rosa! Isn't it obviously from Father? That letter is Father's. Isn't it obvious he's been giving the 4 of us an even chance to become the successor? Die, you brainless idiot!
Wow!
Holy fuck.
That witch influence is really,
Okay.
really working quick.
Okay. I wonder.
That or that's just what Ava's like.
No, it's gotta be witch influence, right?
But it's probably also what Ava's like.
It's a little bit of both. She's influencing what's already there.
Yep.
Rosa really is dumb. If only she'd just give up and die.
I'm sorry. That's right. I'm sorry.
In the beginning, the adults had all doubted the credibility of the letter, but after realizing that this was a once-in-a-lifetime chance in the inheritance struggle for the 3 younger siblings, Ava changed her position, claiming that the letter was authentic. Rudolph and Rosa caught on and agreed.
So this is interesting. Previously, it was everybody against Rudy, right? And now it's a game where everybody gets a shot for all the marbles.
It feels like a free-for-all
now.
Yeah.
That seems dangerous.
Or it seems like a free-for-all, but it seems like the rest of the siblings might be falling in line behind Eva.
I don't know. Seems like Ava doesn't have too much respect for them at this point.
True.
Outrageous! How can adults like you take such a worthless prank this seriously? I don't need to be father to understand his contempt. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Natsuhi's saying all we gotta do is ask father and we're done, right? Won't everything be fine if father just tells us that he doesn't know about any letter?
You know, from one Kansai accent to another. Nissan, take responsibility and just get him to say that he doesn't know about the letter. This is no time to get scared just because he's in a bad mood, okay? He's still scared of father at his age, that idiot. If only he'd just give up and die. Yeah, let's get this settled clearly. He's probably eating in his study right now. Let's have him sit down his chopsticks for just a moment. It's decided. Let's go. Kyrie, wait here for a while. We'll go check whether it's true or not and come back quickly. Thank you. I'll wait patiently for Goda-san to bring in dessert. The four siblings, Natsuhi and Hideyoshi, all rose from their seats forcibly and flew out into the hallway with a clatter. Afterwards, only the children, stunned completely speechless, Nanjo, who looked uncomfortable, and Kyrie, who just shrugged, were left. Kyrie's just like,
I'm here also.
Fuck it. At least it's a delicious dinner, right?
More for me. Needs something to...
She just reaches over to someone else's plate and just like...
Absolutely.
Maybe I can go repave my tie over my chest now.
I was trying to find a good joke for that, and I'm glad you got there, because I didn't.
In the middle of all this was Maria, who looked a little scared at the adult's sudden change. However, judging from her appearance, she didn't look like she realized the full meaning of what she just read.
What in the world was that all about? I don't get it.
I don't know either. Do you want to go get drunk?
Sure.
They're all bastards. Do they really want the inheritance that much?
Everyone, this is our parents' problem. It has nothing to do with us. So you mustn't worry about it.
But it does. Even if you say that. They were so blatant about it.
I can't believe them. Showing off their greed like that.
Everyone has to believe together that we'll be happy.
That's right. We all did promise. Come on, Battler-kun, Jessica-chan, you too. I feel horrible.
We couldn't accept it at all, but we laid down our arms for the time being. We'd been vaguely aware of how filthy this family conference was going to be. However, after that 6-year blank, couldn't help being shocked. When he saw the children were completely dejected, Dr. Nanjo cleared his throat uncomfortably. I got something in my throat. It's very uncomfortable. It's an adult matter. There's nothing to do with all of you young people.
You mean like doing your taxes?
Exactly. Let us forget about it.
I would if I could.
I know it's hard, but forget it for now. All of your parents are fighting frantically to make your futures just a little bit brighter. Please, don't look at your injured parents with those cold eyes when they come back.
They'll be literally injured.
Did you mean literally injured? It feels like you meant literally. Wait, that's the wrong pattern. Oh well, whatever. No matter how much you ask us, Kyrie-san, that'll be tough.
If we could be happy with an explanation like that, we wouldn't be kids.
Everyone be happy. Can't get dark. Believe. If everyone doesn't believe, we can be happy. The happiness will get away. Everyone has to believe.
I like the sound of that.
Do you?
I'll believe too. I'll believe we can find happiness.
Whip. Unclear, thank you. Battler and Jessica, you believe too. Betwith is also saying that magic won't have any power if you don't believe. Boo boo boo.
Kyrie-san rose from her seat quietly, went over to Maria, and crouched down so their eyes met.
Boo boo. Unclear believed. Now Battler and Jessica have to believe.
Those two are strong. He'll feel the letter soon, and then they'll believe.
Yeah.
More importantly, I want you to tell me something. When Kiryu-san said that, Jessica, George, Anaki, Dr. Nanjo, and I all listened closely. Looks like our parents were so concerned with the inheritance problem that grandfather filled their minds. But we wanted to ask Maria about something simpler.
Ew. What?
Who gave you that letter?
Beatrice.
The witch drawn in that portrait?
Ew. They gave me this letter and an umbrella, and to use magic to fix my road that was broken. Beatrice is an awesome witch who can do anything.
Could you tell us about that in a bit more detail?
Does Kyrie know more?
Then she's letting on?
Yeah.
It's gotta be something like that. She's gotta know something more than she's letting on here. Oh, I'm glad we're playing this again.
Me too. I fucking love this.
I'm so happy we're back to Murder Mystery Hour. Oh, right, it's dessert time.
Oh, hell yeah.
I love
fucking
dessert.
love dessert.
Me too. We just had a little Twix bar. Maybe later we'll have a little bit of Ben & Jerry's branded ice cream. It'll be tasty. Unlike the Ushiromias, who for dessert have got nothing but they're just. Brought it back around.
That took me a moment.
You thought I was going off on a tangent, but no, I brought it back around. Without even being allowed to wait for dessert, we were chased out of the room. I heard that in the end, our parents were unable to get grandfather to respond. Well, I hate to say it, but I feel like giving grandfather a high five right now. Boop. He was probably pretty satisfied with how his strange letter had given all his children a good shock, since they had all been so infatuated with the inheritance problem while grandfather was still alive. I also felt like our despicable parents had gotten what they deserved in all of this confusion. But I couldn't really say that I was feeling great. I felt all sulky. Apparently grandfather hadn't seemed concerned with the whole thing, but he also hadn't denied anything about the letter either. When talking about the witch's letter, grandfather's name kept popping up. If grandfather knew that someone was stealing his name, then, considering his character, he'd probably be mad with rage. But even though grandfather now knew the contents of that letter, he coldly ignored it. So did that count as a silent yes? Aunt Ava and Dad were trying to interpret the letter in their favor, their greed clearly visible. Ah. Ah. Wouldn't have mattered so much if that was all, but the adults had now started focusing on Maria, who had received the letter. They kept pounding her with questions about who had given it to her. Ah! I gotta emote the background sprites, otherwise it doesn't count. Maria repeated over and over again that she had gotten it from Beatrice, but there was no way such a mysterious person could have sneaked onto the island. After all, this island's small, and there's no one living on it outside the Oshiromiya family household. Maria kept repeating that she had gotten it from Beatrice, no matter how many times she was asked. The old adults seemed to think she was trying to trick them, so they didn't hold back and questioned her until she broke out in tears. When Maria was released, she sobbed, all worn out from crying. After our parents ordered us to go to the guest house and take Maria with us, they shut themselves up in the dining hall and started getting louder and louder as they discussed the inheritance. It seemed that, because of that strange letter, Uncle Krause's chances of becoming the next head might have been reduced to a blank slate, and in exchange for accepting him, my dad and the rest were trying to swindle Uncle Krause out of a load of money. Or something like that. Who cares? That was in the first... that was in the first 2 chapters. We're beyond that shit now. It really does seem like we're just kind of like blowing right by the whole setup that was supposedly really important to the first 2 chapters.
Yeah.
I think I'm right about this. This game was released in 2 chapter parts, right? Am I right about that?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Someone can fact check me on that. I think it was released in 2 chapter chunks at a time, but anyway. Disgusted as we were, Jessica and I were happy to move over to the guest house. We didn't want to be under the same roof as those filthy adults, their heads so filled with thoughts about money. There you go. George Aniki pleaded on our parents' behalf, saying that he wanted us to understand them. Can I get that one more time? There you go. I understood his reasoning. No matter how filthy this talk of money was, it wouldn't go away if you just closed your eyes to it. But even so, how could they sink so low as to overtly fight over the money of the dead? Or dying, we don't know yet. It's unclear. Maria had cried herself dry and was hiding in her bed. She hadn't even twitched for a while, so she was probably sleeping. You can always tell she's awake when she's on Twitch.
Oh my god, Maria's a Twitch streamer.
Poggers. You want to watch my Roblox Let's Plays?
Absolutely. Who in the world gave that letter to Maria-chan? George Nissan, you can't ask her that anymore. Isn't it fine to say that Maria got it from Beatrice and leave it at that?
After all, we don't want to make her cry any more than this.
How's your coffee?
It was pretty good. I really wish you had brought out your line just a little bit longer so I could have finished my sip, but that's fine.
Okay, I'll try talking much slower.
Could you repeat that one more time?
Talking much slower. Ha!
Fuck. Thing is, it's almost still full in the mug, so I have to be very careful. And it's still very hot, so I can't drink it fast and I can't move it fast. Listen, it's just a difficult situation for everyone involved.
All right.
Even though we said that, we couldn't clear away a gloomy feeling.
There are only 18 people on this island now. The thought that somewhere in the rain, a 19th person gave Maria-chan that letter and is now hiding somewhere doesn't seem realistic at all.
Hey there, George. You sound like you played the first 2 chapters.
Most likely, somebody got Shannon or someone to put on the dress from that portrait, and cleverly got Maria to go along with their story.
They're just rehashing all of the same theories that they've already put out there. And Battler knows it.
Though, in Maria's case, just seeing the dress would probably convince her that it really was Beatrice.
Maybe it doesn't really matter who handed her the letter. The important thing is who sent it. The point is that grandfather wanted to cause an uproar by assuming the name of the witch. Seriously, that old geezer's good at riling people up. The most likely answer is that our occult-loving grandfather was playing around, handing the letter over to Maria, who shares the same hobby as he does, in such a dramatic way. Though we failed to give any thought for what Maria would have to go through, making it a pretty shitty thing to do. Then again, that still kind of matches with what I would expect from him, so... Seriously, messing around with Maria's pure heart. Doesn't matter who handed the letter over. Maria says she got it from Beatrice, so let's treat it that way.
I agree. Let's do that. To Maria-chan, Beatrice is kind of like what Santa Claus is to most kids.
Wait, is that right? Do you bring her gifts? Can I get a gift? I would like an Xbox.
Your gift is murder.
As in, I get to choose someone to murder?
Sure, pick any Ushiromiya.
Yes! I want to murder... It's harder to pick than I thought it would be. I thought there'd be a clear asshole among all of them, but everyone's kind of an asshole in their own way. It's I feel bad singling out any one of them for their particular assholishness. Can I keep that one on the back burner?
Yeah, but hurry up. We'll start running low on them soon.
No! Whether we're dealing with some non-existent 19th person or Santa Claus, as long as we all acknowledge them, they'll at least exist inside Maria. I see, I guess it can be important to lie to a child to protect their dreams. Huh? What's up, Jessica? You still angry? Jessica had her hand on her chin as though there was something she still couldn't understand. Vivian is currently method acting. When I called out to her, she came to her senses.
Sorry. Well, actually, I was wondering if Maria might have actually met Beatrice.
What do you mean by that? You saying there's a 19th person on the island?
If you truly take Maria-chan's words to heart, then you would arrive at that answer. No, that's not what I mean. I'm talking about the story that someone we don't know has been living on this island since long ago.
Living, you say? Where?
In the forest.
Oh, that... Where, though? Like, in the... Do they have a home? Could we go, like, knock on their door and check in, or...
I don't know. Maybe she lives up a tree.
I mean, have they gotten any DoorDash or anything recently? We would be able to find it then, right? They can find you anywhere.
I don't think we can DoorDash to Rokkenjima,
Well,
especially since it hasn't been invented yet.
yeah, but we're rich. We can do anything. What else are we gonna do with all this money if not DoorDash to an island in the middle of a tropical storm? Yes. In 1980 whatever. The adults were gathered in the dining hall, spending a very long time continuing the discussion that had been started by Beatrice's letter. Nah. Krauss strongly claimed that the letter was a simple prank, but he couldn't overturn the claim that Kinzo's failure to deny the letter was answer enough. Judging by Kinzo's character, if he knew that a letter had been written in his name, he would be mad with rage. Since all of the siblings knew that, Krauss had no choice but to withdraw his claim. Nah. That's me withdrawing my claim. Without even having to summarize it, the contents of the letter were simple. The person who could solve the witch's epitaph would receive the headship and ets. This did a lot of damage to Krauss, who had been sure that he would receive the headship, and was better news than the rest of them who had already given up could have hoped for. Well, I just got garden pathed, didn't I?
Yep.
Son of a bitch. Hey, listen, we've been doing this for like 80 plus hours on this one game already. Like, it's gonna keep happening, okay? However, there were some points that worried them. The person who solved the epitaph was not limited to a member of the Ushiromiya family. Taken literally, anyone, no matter how doubtful their origin, might receive the headship. And furthermore, this meant that there was a chance that all of the Ushiromiya family's assets would be stolen by some unknown person. In that sense, it was definitely not a situation where even the other siblings could afford to lower their guard. Had this letter come from an assassin sent by Kinzo, calling themselves Beatrice? Or was this the scheme of some unknown person trying to steal the Ushiromiya family's wealth? They still didn't know the truth. Why is it a riddle anyway? Why couldn't you have made it something easier, like a Picross?
Ask Kinzo.
Or like, just one of those logic problems. You know, the one where they give you the grid and you just have to fill it out that way? It's so much easier.
Beatrice's Sudoku.
Fine, give me a Sudoku. I can do Sudokus. I can do Sudokus with what? 2 digits. I can do Sudokus with 1 digit. I can do Sudokus with no given digits. I'm so good.
Beatrice's word scramble.
Or the jumble.
It just
But the cartoons got banned.
It just says MUDRER.
That's not even enough letters to spell it. You're still missing another E.
Wait, what?
Oh, you're going for murder, not murderer.
Yeah.
Okay. I like this. Wacky Beato's fun time for kids. Found with the Sunday funnies in your local paper. But they could say one thing for certain. Maria had received this problematic letter today on this island.
Ooh, cancelled.
Oh my god. Cancel Ushiromiya Kinzo. Alright, if you could cancel any one of the Ushiromiya family, who would it be? Beato, I'm going to cancel you for wanton murder. Wait, I'm being told Twitter likes that. Fuck.
I think you'll find that murder isn't illegal. You have to be mean to someone online.
Oh no, but you've only been mean to people offline. Thus the source of your power. I understand everything now. In other words, someone was planning to do something. Help me. Someone planning something to do with that letter was on this island today. Sure. Had it been set up by Kinzo, one of the 4 siblings, or maybe some unknown person? No matter how much they suspected each other, they couldn't reach a conclusion. After getting tired of bickering with each other, they finally reached the extremely obvious conclusion that doubting each other was just a waste of time. This feels like I'm playing the first chapter, but I'm also like fast-forwarding through all the cutscenes. We made no.
No, go with it.
No, I can't.
No.
I don't know what that even was or whence it came.
No, just feel it out. We have something wonderful.
We made no progress.
Oh yes, this is.
We've just been spinning our wheels.
This is poetry in motion.
I'm not committing to that. It's bad enough I gave him the fucking sassy mafioso voice. Did you know you sounded like Kermit the Frog there for a moment, brother? I don't know what you're talking about. Are you happy?
Yes.
Is this everything you were hoping for? Okay. That's right. And the mere fact that you've realized it means we won't have to waste any more time.
It is not certain that Father sent the letter. My husband is merely exasperated by your inability to hold a conversation.
Sorry, I was having a sip of Battler's coffee. Who is unable to hold a conversation? You keep yelling at me every time I say something. Do you truly think that such shameful behavior is fitting for a member of the Ushiromiya family? Oh, I'm sorry, the Ushiromiya family?
Would you give it a rest, Eva? You too, Natsuhi-san. That topic's finished for now. Shall we all cool our heads off for now? Let's have some cool drinks brought over. And then dump them on our heads.
That sounds like a wonderful time.
Yeah, I don't know why I think this is a good idea.
I mean, it'll help melt off my current tie so I can replace it with a new one.
We are not going to make any progress today. Catch us 2 hours from now in this same scene.
But this is what people show up for, right? Our wonderful chemistry, our witty quips and asides. The way that we embellish the characters in ways the author could never imagine.
By making everyone a weird, silly dipshit.
By making everyone say the word penis. Watch, I'll do it right now. Penis. Go ahead, Rosa, you try.
I don't think I can.
You sure?
Yeah.
You really just gonna hang me up on like this, huh? Oh, okay. Well, Rosa's out. How about you, Nazi? You got it? I'm not leaving this guy until you say the word. We're gonna be here for a while. And it's all entirely your doing.
Penis?
It was everything I'd hoped it'd be. Thank you. It was a magical moment.
All right, now that we've wasted 5 minutes of our viewers' time, please unsubscribe, unlike, delete, comment.
You know what? Go back to all of our videos and just meticulously add a dislike to each of them. What happened? What were we talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, that sounds good. It'd probably be wiser if we cooled our heads right now. Don't you want to take a short break too, dear? Anarchy looks like she's in a bad mood, so I'll pass on that break. But I agree about the cool drinks. Rosa, have someone bring some water. A whole pitcher. I'm a big spender tonight.
Yes, understood.
Rosa headed over to the extension telephone in a corner of the room and called the servant room. She then passed on what Rudolph had told her to the person on the other end. The vicious bickering up until now vanished as though it had been a lie. That silence continued until Goda finished setting the table, and retreated from the room. Is there anything else that you require?
No. Please leave us.
Well, all right then. Yes. Then if you will excuse me. If you need anything, call me at any time. You can call me on the line. After listening to the sound of Goda's footsteps disappear into the distance, everyone took a deep breath at the same time to break the tension. It sure is raining hard. Wonder if this 19th person is taking shelter in the Rose Garden about now. Rose Garden Arbor about now.
I wonder. They might be able to escape the rain there, but it would be quite cold. A mysterious 19th person is a visitor. Sounds pretty interesting, just like a mystery novel. But normally, in that kind of story, it's a safe bet that the person doesn't exist, that one of us 18 would be faking it.
Good thing this is not a mystery novel, right?
I suspect Genji and the others. Just as I thought, we should have fired all of the servants of the One-Winged Eagle, no matter what excuses we had to make.
Nah, come now, don't say that. We must be grateful for their long years of service. Of course we can't let our guard down.
I'm sure you agree too, Nissan, that whether or not Father is behind this, the person who handed Maria that letter was a servant.
Indeed. In any event, we were all being friendly in our big happy circle until dinner, weren't we? All of the siblings have alibis. Only a servant could have handed Maria that letter.
But all of the servants said that they were too busy with the bed making to have any spare time, during which they could go to Maria-chan in the Rose Garden.
Hey, what are you trying to say then? You aren't saying that the Witch of the Forest, Beatrice-sama, came over and actually handed Maria that letter, are you?
Oh, Rosa, you used to believe in that so much, it really frightened you, right? Don't tell me you still believe at this age. In the Witch of the Forest.
I mean, she might live up a tree somewhere. Fuck you.
You're right. Why in all my years had I ever thought to take a look at the tops of the fucking trees? Is that actually where you live, Beto?
Sometimes.
That just raises more questions than it answered.
If she did exist, I'd be happy for her to appear.
But no matter how much I wish, she didn't appear before me even once. She didn't save me from my crisis.
Of course not. I just thought that since all 18 of us said we didn't do it, there might really be a 19th person. That can't be. In the first place, we were the only ones who came in on that boat. We didn't see any mysterious stranger riding with us. You don't think they could have swam across this rough sea, right? I can't really imagine it. Wahaha.
Wee hee hee. Sorry, I just wanted to join in. Logically, that's true. It's difficult to imagine that there's a single hidden and uninvited guest on this isolated island. However, it looks like some of us still can't abandon the possibility completely, right?
Hideyoshi had laughed it off, saying there couldn't be a 19th person, but Kyrie had sensitively picked up on the delicate atmosphere among the four siblings. In a normal situation, there shouldn't have been any uninvited guests on this small, isolated island. How would they have come here, and from where, and where were they hiding? And why hadn't they appeared openly, even though they had sent a letter in their name? Nothing could explain that. But not only had the four siblings not joined in on Hideyoshi's laughing, they also seemed unable to completely deny in their hearts the possibility of a 19th person. Kyrie-san, please don't misunderstand. It's not as though we believe in that fairy tale like Legend of the Witch.
Is this another topic to insult Father?
I never believed in the witch ever since. Anike over there made me drink something and called it witch piss.
And it was just normal piss.
It wasn't a witch piss at all.
Anyway, watch ReZero. It's a great show.
Simply speaking of such a thing as a betrayal against him.
I wonder. However, this is father we're talking about. It could be possible, right?
I don't know anything. What's this? What's this? Why's everyone gotten so gloomy? What are you talking about? In short, the legend of the witch isn't a joke, but a fact? That's ridiculous.
Of course, nobody believes in some witch riding a broom and flying in the sky. The woman in that portrait, Beatrice, might have really existed on this island.
Hideyoshi-san. It looks like we aren't talking about a witch, but something a little simpler. So it must be something like this. Everyone suspects that father had a mistress named Beatrice living somewhere secretly on this island. Is that it?
Father was always exemplary at keeping strictly to the rules. It is completely inconceivable that he would bring something so filthy onto this island.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Inconceivable.
You didn't have to repeat it then, because now it's just we're harping on it. It would have been funny as like a one and done kind of reference and then we just moved on, but now we're harping on it and it's just not funny anymore.
And yet, which one of us is still talking?
Wow. Okay. Fine. I'll be over here. I'll do the rest of my part from this far over to the left.
No, I'm going to the left too.
That's okay. Nazi snapped at them immediately, but looked like the four siblings, including Kraus, didn't agree. On the contrary, they appeared to think Kinzo wouldn't even have hesitated to do something like that. From the beginning, it had been whispered that Kinzo had built a mansion on this island specifically because of the existence of an entrancing mistress.
Who just happened to be here on this otherwise deserted island? Did she just grow here?
I don't know. Why don't... I mean, she's like, however old, right? I'm sure. Actually, you know what? I buy that. If you were an immortal being, I think you would naturally want to find at least one space that you knew was deserted in order to get away from everyone.
True, but I was going on the theory that they're all having that, oh, this isn't about a witch, this is about a mistress that he had. It's like, well then, why here? Why here?
I don't know, because abandoned islands have this weird mystique to them. You've read Monte Cristo, you know what's up.
That's true.
I'm sorry, Nazi-san. I know what you respected, Dad, but that rumor started a long time ago. He handled the construction on this island entirely on his own. People have always guessed he had some contraption or secret room set up on this mansion that only he knew about. And it's always been whispered that hidden somewhere on this island, there's a secret mansion none of us know about.
I see. This island might look small on a map, but it's quite large for just the Oshiromiya family to live on. So people have suspected that he built a secret mansion somewhere in the uncivilized forest for his mistress to live in. That would be quite a large-scale scheme. Also, it's the late 80s. We have aerial photography. We would see that. If we agree, it would have to be underground, right? We're not seriously suggesting there's another building that we don't know about. We are suggesting that.
It could be really small.
Oh my god.
Who's talking now? Is this Kyrie still?
I don't think so. I think it's Rudy.
In the beginning, people thought it might be somewhere inside this mansion. Then it might be a hidden basement with a fabulous hidden room where the witch that portrait was secretly hiding. Seeing that intricate autolock on Dad's study, it isn't too hard to imagine, right? After all, Father did spread the rumor that a large amount of gold was hidden somewhere by some mechanism. I wouldn't be surprised if there existed some hidden room inside this very mansion that none of us knows about yet.
When Mother was alive, she would often scour the entire mansion searching for Father when he wasn't anywhere to be found. Mother also suspected what Rudolph just said.
Is that the first time they've talked about their mother?
Just about.
Like, I knew she had to exist, but like... Talk about Miss not appearing in this film.
She believed that there was a hidden door or stairway somewhere and that his blonde-haired mistress was hidden behind it.
It's hard to believe, but there are some actual examples in other countries of people cheating with someone over a period of several decades by making them live in a hidden attic room. Furthermore, Kinzo had a mansion this extravagant. It was possible to suspect the existence of a hidden room. From what I've heard, the legend of the Rokkenjima witch was just a fairy tale, made up to scare children away from the uncivilized forest. But it's starting to sound like there's a little more to the story. Well, as you know, this is a lonely island. Do you know how we got here?
Via an aquatic craft?
You're close. You're close to it. I'll come back to you, don't worry about it. Without anything but the Ushiromiya mansion on it. When Rose and I were little brats on stormy nights, we got so scared by the sound of trees rustling in the direction of the forest. We had this crazy delusion that something weird might be looking out at us from between those trees. It's only natural for a brat to think of stuff like that. But when Rose and I complained about it, some people figured it was more than her brat's imagination. Isn't that right, Anarchy? Yeah. Nissan and I thought you might have coincidentally spotted Father's mistress, living in secrecy on this island as she went out for a walk when no one was looking. Of course, Mother felt the same. Nah. Even among the older servants, you had often heard the ghost story about the witch of the portrait wanders the mansion at midnight. Outwardly, I left it off as just a ghost story, but on the inside, I suspected very much that it hinted at the existence of a hidden mistress. Yeah.
In that case, you're saying that the existence of an 18th person might not be completely ridiculous. That they might actually be somewhere around here.
Sounds like one of those devil's proofs Rudolph's always talking about. It might be possible to prove that there's an 19th person, but it's impossible to prove that a 19th person doesn't exist. Should we continue this discussion under the assumption that there's a person named Beatrice hiding somewhere on this island?
That's a good plan from the perspective of risk management. Probably much more prudent to say that she might exist rather than saying she couldn't exist.
I see. Sorry, I was a bit careless. Rosa-san, sorry for laughing just now. Huh? It's fine, I don't mind.
Now, I've only been half following this conversation, but do I actually need to drink the witch piss? Or is that optional?
Hideyoshi apologized deeply for taking the worst-case scenario lightly, despite calling himself the president of a company. Silence fell again.
Help me get up.
They're crying for help, but you can't hear them because it's silence. It's so sad. Preparing for the existence of a 19th person would mean, in effect, acknowledging the presence of some unknown person hidden on this island. This is very different, actually.
Yeah, because now they are immediately on board with the idea that, yep, there's a Beato somewhere.
Yep, or someone calling themselves Beato. Yep, that's really interesting, actually. Isn't this person might be planning something shady? It's only natural that the conversation would turn in an ominous direction. In the past, Father would sometimes suddenly disappear without telling anyone where he went. After all, he is a man who values silence. It wouldn't have been out of the ordinary for him to shut himself up in some library room after purposely not telling anyone where he was going. However, when the witch theory was slowly refined into the theory about his mistress, people eventually whispered that he was secretly going back and forth to see her. Mom was totally paranoid in her last years. She'd sometimes suddenly start making a fuss, asking the servants to start looking for Dad immediately because of some urgent situation.
Yes, that did happen sometimes. Mother was always doing things like that in her later years, and that frightening atmosphere still hasn't gone away. I can say it for certain now. She was a person to be pitied.
So then, what happened with those large-scale searches of the house? Did they find anything?
No. Father wasn't caught foolishly in a hidden room even once. Always after a long time had passed, he would suddenly show up somewhere. Then he'd say that he'd taken a nap in some library room, or the wind had summoned him to take a walk on the beach. But it was always some place where the servants had already looked. We never knew where Father had gone. Even at that time, Grandfather was famous for his occult inclinations. So some of the servants exaggerated, saying that he might have turned into butterflies and danced about the rose garden.
Ha ha ha.
Ugh.
So in short, Father frequently disappeared and no one knew where he went.
Yeah. Since we couldn't find him no matter how much we looked inside the mansion, we got more and more sure that Dad might have been somewhere outside. But the area outside the mansion isn't large at all. It sees only the forest. If you tie that in with the legend of the witch, you get a theory like this. Father actually built a hidden mansion somewhere in the forest, inside of which mistress by the name of Beatrice lived, and he sometimes went to see her. Meh. I was also young at the time. I was so eager to find where Father was having an affair that one time I followed him when he went outside. Of course it was a failure. The time Father went out, he was oddly intent on avoiding places where he might be seen. He was extremely careful to prevent anyone from spotting him. And he was extraordinarily earnest in his attempts to do so. But that actually made me sure. He must have been going out for some reason that members of the family couldn't know about.
And that be going to meet his mistress. Probably trying to avoid being seen.
Just seeing Hideyoshi nod and say, yes, yes, as though this was quite obvious, Ava got a little sullen.
Well, anyway, this island was like a sketchbook in which Father, with his Western obsession, could draw out all of his dreams. Everything about this island was exactly how Father wanted it. It wouldn't be odd at all if there was a hidden mansion somewhere for his mistress to live in.
Ava's words spoke for what all the siblings had come to think. For a while, the room returned to silence again, and everyone listened to the sound of the wind and rain. Was there a hidden mansion on this island? And had Kinzo's mistress been living there in hiding for a long, long time? Everyone thought they were being too suspicious, and they hesitated for a long time without speaking. But everyone shared a common opinion. Kyrie, who had been listening to the whole time with her eyes closed, spoke to no one in particular.
How long has this rumor about Father's mistress been around?
As soon as we moved to this island, about 30 years ago. After all, it probably would have been impossible for him to have a hidden mansion built while we were here. People and materials would have to be going in and out. Would have been exposed quickly. So it was possible it happened before we moved here. Probably could have been built along with this mansion when we were still living in Odawara.
Since Father had to set up a double life with his family and his mistress, it's probably reasonable to assume that he had it all planned from the beginning. And his relationship with that mistress probably went back to the days when we lived on Odawara.
Probably. If, as Father says, he is the source of that vast amount of gold he used to gain the funds that resurrected the Ushiromiya family, we could probably conclude that they had a close relationship since Odawara. A relationship trusting enough for her to lend him a vast quantity of gold. Can't even imagine how old that relationship must have been.
Perhaps Father gave her some kind of valuable advice for succeeding in business. It's natural to think that, out of a sense of gratitude for that, this person gave Father the gold. If you think about it that way, it's obvious that they would have a close relationship after that. Rather than a festering relationship with a mistress, it was probably a relationship of gratitude to the person who saved the Ushiromiya family from its crisis. I don't know if what Natsuhi-san's saying has a ring of truth to it or not, but even in that case, isn't building a hidden mansion and having her live in it going a bit too far? Doesn't that mean they felt something a bit more than gratitude?
Well, this is all just speculation. In the first place, no one's ever found that hidden mansion. Aniki, we're planning on expanding this island into a resort, right? So you were doing that, you didn't manage to stumble on it by chance, did you? Maybe you even bumped into some gold there, too. Do you think Rokkenjima's treasure island or something?
Don't play dumb. We know that. Although you say you're opening a resort, you've really been planning to investigate the entire island, right? Judging by all that trouble and confusion we were talking about earlier, you haven't been very successful, have you?
I don't know what you're talking about, but it's a misunderstanding. Isn't it perfectly natural that investigating this island would be the first step in turning it into a resort?
Kraus tried to play dumb, but it was plainly obvious to his siblings who knew him so well. Kraus was definitely sure of the existence of a hidden mansion, and under the pretense of opening a resort, had been closely investigating the island, searching for a clue as to the location of the hidden gold. They couldn't tell whether that conviction was just him overthinking things or whether it was based on some physical proof. Still, if Kraus was, with all his guile, was sure, that was enough proof for the other siblings to be sure too.
The story about a witch living in a forest is obviously a fairy tale, but the story about some blonde-haired girl living secretly in a mansion no one knows about in the middle of the forest isn't much better.
That's right. That really would be just like a fairy tale. You like those, don't you, Rosa?
How big is Rokkenjima actually?
Huh?
In the game? Can you look it up on a wiki?
I could.
Alright.
Okay,
Google.
Is it bigger than a bread box?
Bigger than a bread. How big is Rokkenjima? 10 kilometers, or approximately 6.2 miles around. Okay. So it's... I don't know what that makes it, but the coastline's about 10 kilometers. Okay. That's...
Who knew? Smaller than a bread box.
Wait, how do you get your bread?
That's why I always bring it home unboxed.
Jesus Christ.
Well...
Now, when the mansion was built on this island, Father was at the head of his prosperity. With his money, he could probably obtain anything, make any of his wild imaginings real. A mansion in the forest where a witch quietly waits. Sounds like the kind of situation Father would like. Doesn't it, though? Like something from the occult or a fairy tale. Feels like Dad's kind of hobby.
On this island, which the Ushiromi family had lived for 30 years now, a hidden mansion that no one knew about had been quietly built to house a witch, about whom nothing was known except what could be guessed from a portrait. Even this hastily thrown together theory might not be completely delusional, considering all of Kinto's strange habits and his vast wealth. It might not have been impossible for Father to have built a hidden mansion to satisfy his dreams. However, let's be realistic. Would it be possible to house his beloved woman in that hidden mansion for decades without it becoming inconvenient? Well, if there was love, it could have been doable, right? Think of the facilities needed to let his beloved woman live healthily, and in a way that would satisfy Father. For example, even if it was on a small scale, it would be an intricate and pleasant. It would have to be an intricate and pleasant residence. It probably would need to have electricity and gas and running water maintained, as well as some people to see to her needs. Even cooking would be quite difficult. She would need clothes and makeup and the daily necessities. The needs of a woman aren't simple. Would it be possible to maintain all of that without the family or the servants noticing?
When you say it that way, it sure sounds like there's a weak point in our theory. But that isn't enough to get rid of my feeling that Dad might have been able to do it anyway. For all, it's Dad we're talking about.
That's right. It's our father.
If Father wanted to succeed in an endeavor, he would succeed no matter what. Saying that something would be difficult for a normal person and therefore impossible doesn't apply when it comes to Father.
Yeah, indeed. You should never underestimate Father. Father's madness can't be understood by normal people.
I wouldn't put it past that, Kinzo. As long as you stick to this phrase, a considerable amount of credibility can dwell within any absurd story. However, that didn't cause the importance of what Kyrie had said to waver. This was different from stealthily raising a kitten in a cardboard box and keeping it a secret from your parents. Taking care of a person in secret over a period of 30 years would be an incalculably massive task.
After all, Father's Legend of the Gold started before he gained possession of Rokkenjima. That'd mean his relationship with his mistress was over 30 years long. How old would that make her? In the worst case, she could be as old as us or older, right? By that age, the body starts to break down. I don't care what the mansion's like, I wouldn't use the word agreeable to describe living in a place where people's eyes can't reach, almost like she was under house arrest.
That's right. If what Father told us about Beatrice is true, then that relationship has lasted over 30 years. She might have been a charming young woman at the time, but probably makes sense to assume she's an old bag like us now. Can easily imagine that given the contents of that letter.
You should talk.
Kraus laughed as if none of this applied to him. Of course Ava was offended, but she didn't strike back. Quit it, Anarchy. So if everything we're thinking is true, then she should be joining in on Dad's inheritance problem with her head held high. After all, there's a good chance that her love was mutual, unlike with Mom. Even if she knows she's his mistress, she might also be proud to be his true wife.
That is an insult to Mother.
Yeah, sorry. However, everyone knows that it was a political marriage decided on by the elders among his relatives. Because of that, it definitely wouldn't be strange for Dad to have a mistress. Family sank after the Great Kanto earthquake, and Father was set up as the Ushiromiya family head against his will. However, in the beginning, the elder relatives treated Kinzo like a dummy and influenced him powerfully, almost like he was a puppet. He wasn't permitted to decide anything by himself, not even his marriage partner. For since he met that Golden Witch Beatrice in those distant days, Kinzo's legend of the gold was quickly embellished into something dramatic. In other words, it could mean that Kinzo really did find a woman he loved. If she also knew the whole story, even if they weren't marriage partners, it wouldn't have been odd for her to consider herself his true wife inside her heart. And now the person registered as his true life was already dead. Just thinking aloud, actually, wouldn't they have a constant supply of anonymous orphaned servants for which to go staff a mansion like that?
Yeah.
How would they get food and water out there? How would they get food?
Good question.
There would have to be at least one person, aside from Kinzo, involved at the main mansion who would be able to direct getting food over there.
That, or if there's just a separate supply chain and there's another landing somewhere.
I can buy that they wouldn't have scoured the entire island meter by meter.
But the coastline.
Yes, I do not buy that they would not have looked around the entire coastline.
But
If you gave me a boat as a 10-year-old kid and said, hey, which I did, and said, hey, go drive it around for a little while. Mm-hmm. First thing I would do is do a loop around the island.
So, but my thought being that it could well be that they are landing elsewhere. Not that on the coastline, not that the secret mansion is located on the coastline.
Okay.
It could well be that they are just, there's beaches all over. Could well be there's another beach that they
used
are,
as a landing.
that Kinzo just has some people boat in a truckload of supplies every couple weeks and then carry it into the forest from the opposite side.
And no one would notice that. No one would notice that a second set of boats were going to and leaving Rokkenjima.
Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know.
Huh.
If it was all happening, say, on the opposite side, kilometers away, where it wasn't in plain view.
Maybe in the moment, but like somewhere along that line, someone's got to notice that, like, hey, 2 sets of boats are going out to. I don't know.
Yeah. Huh? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
But it's at least a possibility.
I get it. I don't buy it. Another person registered as his true wife was already dead.
Which means she might feel confident staking her claim, not just for the rights to his assets, but regarding the battle over the headship too.
Battler's coffee's kind of lukewarm now. Do you like some of Battler's coffee?
Why, yes. Thank you.
You can sip that while I'm reading my line. I see. I'm starting to see the purpose of this letter. The headship goes to the one who solves the riddle of the epitaph. Is that what it means? Even if that mistress was added into the family ranking system, she isn't a direct relative of Father, so she'd be inferior even to the children. In other words, she'd be one step below Rosa in rank. Sideburn Rosa.
Wow.
That wouldn't be a good position to enter the battle for the headship from. Nah, I see, so that's it. If someone could solve the witch's riddle, they'll get the headship regardless of rank. In other words, it's the most advantageous condition Beatrice could possibly get, since she's got no chance otherwise.
It's like they haven't seen the first 2 routes.
Wait, have they? Have I? I'm still really unclear how Meta Battler is connected to actual Battler.
Yeah. Weird, huh?
Could you explain it to me very quickly and succinctly?
Not at all.
Oh, well, all right then. The revival of the Ushiromiya family was made possible by the gold Beatrice had bestowed. That was quite a distinguishing service she had provided. She had built that wealth together with Kinzo, so it was natural she would think of herself as one who should inherit it. It would also be natural for her to despise the thought of giving it up to the children of the wife Kinzo never loved.
How could she be so impudent? Even if such a mistress actually exists, joining in on the battle for the rights to the head's inheritance would be a reckless action far above her place. What disregard for her own position!
Natsuhi turned red, her fist quivering.
Have you thought about how this route so far is just about making up a new type of guy and then getting mad at him? This is just Twitter.
This is... New type of guy just dropped. This is one called the 19th guy. Shows up unexpected, unannounced to a family reunion. Plots to steal your gold may not actually exist. Ladies, if your guy sounds like this, you might have a 19th guy. She also hadn't come into the Ushiromi register due to complicated circumstances. Those who knew that understood more or less why she was so angry for the sake of Kinzo's dead wife.
Well, thanks to that reckless action of hers, we all have an even chance now, right?
Father has even given it
His silent approval. Will the person who succeeds at the Ushiromi family be his mistress Beatrice? Or one of us, the relatives he doesn't love? Maybe he wants to make us struggle over that to see who's worthy.
As Ava giggled roguishly, Kraus shrugged his shoulders and looked away.
However, since she's the one who brought this rule to light in the first place, maybe that means it gives her a significant advantage.
That's right. In the first place, if Beatrice meant that letter literally, then she's Father's alchemist. In other words, she's the manager of his gold. It wouldn't be strange at all if she knew where it was hidden, would it? Isn't that harsh? If it's like she's given us a riddle she knows the answer to, she'll probably show up rudely, say, here's the answer, I'll take the headship now, and snatch everything away, snatch it.
Do you want another try at that?
Snatch everything away from us.
There you go.
Here, have some more Battler's coffee. I'm sure that'll help.
Thank you kindly.
That's right. The person who brings up a riddle always knows the answer. There's a good chance that this is all a trap to steal everything from us.
If you think about it like that, don't you start to doubt whether she really had any gold in the first place? Why wouldn't she tell us about it? All she has to do is keep quiet and embezzle it.
Except we know Kraus knows the gold exists.
Yes.
Or at least
that some gold.
At least some gold that could not be accounted for otherwise exists. So more likely than not, the gold does exist.
It really is. Strange.
He wouldn't want to let slip in this case because that's his edge.
Yep.
If the headship is to be determined by the riddle, he is best poised among the siblings.
True that. That was certainly the case. The epitaph showed the way to the hidden gold. Why would she challenge them to try and solve it? If they actually did solve it, wouldn't the gold be all stolen from her? Could it be that this person was trying to stir the siblings up so they'd solve the epitaph, and then plan to steal it away right at the last second? It was an extremely logical possibility.
No. You spin the chessboard around. There might be a pretty good chance they actually do have the gold. Why are you so certain?
Wait, Aniki. Kyrie, please keep talking. Why do you think that?
After all, do they really
That's
think
a good face. Ah.
Do they really think we'll let go of the Ushiromi family headship just because someone tells us the answer to a riddle in the witch's epitaph? That we'll be so impressed by the answer that we'll just give up?
Well, that's true. No way they're so naive that they assumed we'd just give up after being told the answer to a riddle. That we'd just say, here you go, and hand it over. Of course. The headship of the Ushiromiya family is not something that can be handed over so easily.
I mean, have you seen the thing? It's a huge boat. One might even call it a ship.
I've been thinking that as well. The family headship, and it's just shaped like a head.
That's it exactly. No matter how Beatrice might one-sidedly propose a game like this,
Even if she were to spectacularly show us the answer, there's no way we'd obediently hand over the headship. In other words, unless she has a compelling force, a form of challenging us to a game with equal conditions for us all, this won't truly count as a game.
I see we're at the play within a play.
I mean, this has already been pretty meta, but yeah, we're going whole hog now.
All right. Unless the losers have no choice but to give up on the headship because of a compelling force, this wouldn't really count as a game. And what might this compelling force be? Will they bind us in chains and threaten us into handing over the headship? I see. I get it. They just have to do something to make us want to give up the headship willingly. Yes, I see. To do that, Beatrice would have to own 10 tons of gold.
I see, I get it too. In other words, it's a trade? Huh? What do you mean? A trade? Trade what?
Didn't you read the first chapter? We all are in need of a very large amount of gold. The Ushiromiya family headship for the...
I'm assuming this is Kyrie still.
For the hidden gold. Beatrice surely plans to tell us the location of the 10 tons of gold, and use that as a bribe to gain the Ushiromiya family headship.
That's probably not saying...
Ridiculous! They want to trade the headship of the glorious Ushiromiya family for money? That's blasphemy. Blasphemy against the Ushiromiya family. Blasphemy!
I was about to say, which is second only to blasphemy against God, but...
It's probably not.
No, that one healthily first.
Please listen without getting mad.
I am constitutionally incapable of following that suggestion, but thank you for your concern.
Well, at least you don't have your gun right now.
Yet. Actually, I think I had my turn already. Whose turn will it be this chapter? Probably Eva.
I think it's my turn with the gun.
No, I think it's Eva's turn.
What if I fist fight Ava for it? I've never held a gun in my life, and I would really like to at some point. Anyway, about how much wealth does this glorious Ushiromi family have right now? Are we really that affluent?
The definition of affluence is not dependent on property. Property is theft anyway.
Wait, why would Natsuhi of all people say that?
I'm quite confused.
No, I'm not saying no. This is an interesting choice for a character. I'm just saying, why would she of all people?
It is about heart.
Specifically, this one heart I have in a cooler in our basement.
Our financial situation has nothing to...
Kraus interrupted Natsuhi as she started to go on and on emotionally. In this situation, the more she went on like that, the worse it would actually sound.
Nah. Me aside, I hear your current situations are quite unfavorable.
Oh, really? I've heard that your financial situation's really bad, too. Offering up more and more as collateral for new money to gamble with. Repeatedly dabbling in new gambles, unable to accept your losses. If we count what's going on behind the scenes, you're in even bigger financial straits than the rest of us. Just how much money have you lost, Nei-san? You have no talent.
Who are you saying has no talent? And what do you mean financial straits?
I mean the financial straits. They're in Europe.
I see.
I know, I was surprised too, but someone showed it to me on a map and I was like, holy crap, I guess you're right.
Where are the financial gays?
Wait, what?
Where are the financial gays?
Gays? Well, I don't understand.
We've determined the location of the financial straits.
I get it now. I was so caught up in straits as straits that I didn't think of it as straits. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, you ever think about how we have straight jackets but not gay jackets?
It's because they put you in one and you become straight.
No, I don't want to.
No one does. Why do you think that they're so evil?
Okay.
There you go. He became indignant once more, but Kraus raised his hand again and interrupted her. It seems you are making a small mistake. Business is not something that can be judged based on current progress alone. For someone with a long-term outlook on his business, such as myself, it may sometimes appear at a glance that I've suffered significant short-term losses. Anarchy.
Even collecting evidence. Her position right now isn't one to be proud of. So this is what Kyrie is trying to say. Every one of us has got money trouble. And Beatrice has 10 tons of gold. She's the only person who knows the location of the 10 tons of gold. Beatrice is planning on using it to force us to sell the headship. But how much is 10 tons of gold worth? Yeah, at a rough estimate, let's say 2 billion yen? No, 20 billion yen. That much piled up, we'd be ecstatic to accept her as a successor. Interesting. I really like the way this is going, where they're like, the adult half are clearly like piecing it out a lot better than they were on the first couple tries.
Mm-hmm.
This seems like it's going to end in a very interesting way. The scene returned to silence. In fact, the rain and wind felt even noisier now. It's probably the sound of the windstorm racing through the middle of their mind. This isn't funny. To think we'd give up the headship to some woman of doubtful origin, just because she had a little money stored up.
Don't be stupid. The headship wasn't even yours in the first place, right? We've got nothing to lose and money to gain. We'll have to calculate our profit and loss, but it's something worth listening to.
They knew that Kraus had eaten up much of the Ushiromiya family's assets.
He just loves eating banknotes.
I can't help it. They're just so tasty. Have you tasted the ink they put on these? And then when they added the anti-fraud strips in the middle. Oh, what a delight. So, it was dregs that remained of that inheritance versus the cost of being accepted as the head that Beatrice would pay. It was a shame, but honestly, the former was less enticing than the latter. Well, it probably wouldn't end up as 4 equals portions. Since Aniki would be giving up his position of successor, its portion would have to be larger. Makes me feel kind of jealous, you know? Meh.
Dear, the amount of money isn't the problem, right? Your cowardly younger siblings are trying to sell the glory of the Ushiromiya family for money. Don't you see? Why aren't you displaying your dignity as the oldest son?
Natsuhi, stay quiet for a while.
Dear?
This is a dizzying proposal. We were each planning on getting 250 million yen out of Aniki. The witch treats us with 10% of those 10 tons. That's 2 billion, dear. Yeah. I love the idea that he's just not good at math.
Rudy is just bad at everything and has to have a Kyrie to follow him around to make shit not go to shit.
That means he's treating with 10 times our original goal. That alone would be more than enough for us. It's not like I've got any attachment to the issue. It's not 10 times your original goal.
What?
Because they wanted
almost.
Yeah, but it's not.
Is an order of magnitude?
It's 8 times more.
Is an order of magnitude is good enough. 1 digit, 10 times.
Oh my god.
Powers of 10. Powers of 10.
I'm gonna go whack my head against a wall.
Powers of 10.
Please stop. You can have one more.
How about 10 more?
Jesus Christ.
We have to go up in orders of magnitude.
Enough for us. It's not like I've got any attachment to the Ushiromiya name. I'd be happy to sell it off. Even if 10 tons is a slightly optimistic figure. Yes, it'd still be a fascinating prospect for us. We were trying to form an alliance amongst the siblings to kick this outsider who called Beatrice out. But if this is her plan, it'll tear apart the unity between us. Yeah, by this point we can state it clearly. The goal of Beatrice's letter was to disturb our alliance. The 3 younger siblings, who never had anything to do with the inheritance, were paid enough money to satisfy them. They would happily accept Beatrice as the next head. A moat had been dug all around Kraus. In that case, the negotiations would be one-on-one between her and Kraus. He tried to look strong, but Kraus's financial and political situation was extremely weak. He might bluff in front of his siblings, but on the inside he was considering entering negotiations, depending on the sum of money involved. In order to bury his losses, Kraus had taken advantage of the fact that Kinzo had shut himself up in his room and embezzled Kinzo's personal... Is that the first confirmation we have that he's Like,
Yes.
we've been suspecting it?
This is the first time we've heard it confirmed. We have heard
Okay.
others accuse him of it.
We've
but
never-
now we know it's true.
Okay, cool. Therefore, when Kinzo died and the inheritance was distributed, Krause's situation would probably be investigated. But if he gave up his seat as the head to Beatrice, she would also receive rights to the assets, and as a result, the distribution of the inheritance to the siblings would not occur. In other words, Krause's embezzlement might not have been to be made known to the other siblings. Of course, the siblings were frightened of Kinzo, but it was doubtful whether they still actually respected him as a father. By this time, they each had their own families, their own wealth, and their own lives. They were paid enough money in exchange for Rokkenjima, the wreckage of Kinzo's dreams. There was significant likelihood that they'd relinquish the Ushiromiya family name. In other words, Beatrice's victory was already guaranteed in this game. Not as the winner of Beatrice's game, but as the winner of Kinzo's game. Kinzo once ordered that the epitaph be put on display, and until today no one had solved it, so Beatrice solved it. In other words, this is less a game and more like Beatrice's declaration of victory. However, Kyrie still thought there might be a catch. This was a declaration of victory. Beatrice would only have to display the gold openly and state her intent to buy the inheritance. And yet she had gone to all of this trouble, telling the siblings to try and solve the epitaph. Why did she set up this new game, where she had agreed to hand over all of the gold and the inheritance to the epitaph solver? Kyrie tried spinning the chessboard around several times. She searched for the sort of ideal strategy Beatrice might be after, something that could lead to this kind of thinking. In the end, she reached a single conclusion. Could it be arrogance? Or maybe she's playing? What are you talking about? The witch sent us a letter of challenge, forcing us to try to solve the epitaph. She might be taking us lightly, thinking we could never solve it. However, at the very least, there ought to be an extremely small chance that we do solve it. After all, you have your forefathers' children by blood, right? The questioner called together 4 blood relatives who, they tried frantically to work together and avoid having those assets stolen from them, might come across the answer of the riddle by chance. The reason the witch had a superior position in negotiations compared to the siblings was that only she knew the location of the hidden gold. But if that hiding place was exposed to someone other than her, the witch's advantage would crumble. In short, Beatrice gains nothing but risk by writing this witch's letter of challenge. Of course, it might have had the effect of splitting apart the siblings' alliance. But if that was her only goal, why would she take this risk, however slight it might be? That seems reckless to me. But if we keep in mind a certain type of emotion, that risk becomes comprehensible. And you're saying it's arrogance? Yes, that's right. When people have an overwhelming advantage, they tend to get arrogant. And when they do, they want to show off that advantage to the losers, so they sometimes take on small risks. A moderate amount of risk adds a little spice to the joy of victory. It'd be boring to win without any risk. I understand. Like that kind of thing, too. Yeah, I understand it well. I thought of a few plausible explanations for the true motive behind Beatrice's letter, but I think this really might be the truth. The emotion hidden behind that letter was arrogance.
Yeah, that
Arrogance.
tracks.
Wait, really? That's it? That's it?
Do you know me?
I thought it was because the magic had to have some risk in it. Or something like that. I don't know. Do I know you, Beto? I feel like we've hung out for a long time now, but we're not really any closer to knowing each other. Maybe we should play like 20 questions.
20 questions of murder?
No, not quite. We'll get you there. I went to the store and picked up a date pack of question cards. They're good icebreakers for getting to know someone. Let me try question 1. Who is someone that you really respect, and why?
Well, I would have to say Beatrice, the Golden Witch, who has attained the title of Endless Witch. I really respect her.
Okay, I see we're not going to get anywhere with this one.
Yeah, pretty much one. There's just one. Yeah.
Only
it's
the
me.
one, huh? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well... She's... Son of a... Sorry. She's trying to throw her weight around. Looking down on us as if there's no way we could figure out such a difficult epitaph. It might even be possible, if surprising, that the epitaph wasn't written by father, but by her. Sounds great. Solve the riddle of the epitaph, she says. If only I solved it, I would be made the head, right? I'll solve it. I'll accept the witch's challenge. As if those other idiot siblings could solve it. I'll solve it by myself, then I'll prove that I'm the one who's fit to succeed the Ushiromi family. I'll take that challenge. I will solve the riddle. Fuck yeah, Ava. Come on. You can do it. Finally, someone's actually trying to solve the damn riddle.
Only took
3 chapters.
3 chapters.
God damn. See you next time, everyone.
Bye.
Smash that like, comment and subscribe.
Yeah.
Meh.
Meh.
Solid meh out of 10.
Meh.